Am I audible now, guys?
Yes, bhai.
Yes, Pradeep.
Super, super. Yeah. 1 second, guys. Yeah, sorry, guys. Okay, so today I'll just reiterate on that RTAM, any doubts on that RTAM thing, whatever we have discussed yesterday.
No, bhai. Coming.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just re reiterate or revise on whatever we have discussed yesterday, and we will also see how exactly it works when we run our time agents. Just a second, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's ready.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm using my project to use a Radiant password. Okay. Let this open. Meanwhile, let us talk about the RTAM. So first thing is RTAM is nothing but real time availability monitor. And why would we need this? So RTAM is basically used in order to have the real time availability picture to the front end system or the website or the store wherever the real orders are getting processed. And RTAM can be run in two different what do you call two ways. That is at individual node or a group of nodes. That is nothing but a distribution group. RTAM can be run in both the ways. And in order to have the RTAM, we should configure monitor rules. Monitor rules basically will have the threshold limits which will be in action based and activity based. As we discussed yesterday, action based are something where if there is, sorry, this is event based, action based and event based. Action based is something where if you want to invoke any action or what do you call that, based on certain services, you can invoke the services under that particular action. So you can configure the same action here once the threshold limit is crossed beyond or below, you can invoke that particular action. So in order to configure that, we can use this particular monitor rule. And the same way it can be done as event based. Event based is also more or less the same thing. Whenever the threshold goes beyond or below the, sorry, whenever the inventory goes beyond or below the threshold limit, the agent runs and it would invoke the event based on the threshold. So that is the event based. And what else we have seen? Let me go through that particular document. So this is the first thing. It can be across the nodes or it can be for the individual nodes, and configuration of the monitor rule. And in order to have the monitor rule configured at the item level, we can have these two things: node level ATP monitor and ATP monitor rule configured for that particular item. For example, you have thousands of items and you can have hundreds of monitor rules based on the requirement. You can have different threshold limits for different kinds of items, and you can have different actions raised or events raised based on your requirement. And whatever the RTime monitor rules you have, you can configure those RTime monitor rules on that particular item in order to have the RTime agent look for the monitor rule on the particular item. And coming to the RTime agent will have three different criteria. That is option 2, option 3. Option 1 is nothing but activity based. Option 2 is nothing but quick sync or delta sync. Option 3 is nothing but full sync mode. And as part of this particular agent configuration, we will have default agent and default agent queue. Whenever we install the Sterling for the first time, we have to create a queue and we have to create an agent server in order to have this particular RTime running in our system. And as part of this particular criteria parameters, you will have something called as raise event on all availability change. Parameter, this particular parameter means if you set this particular parameter to y, it will raise the event for all the changes irrespective of the threshold limit. In order to avoid that, you can have this as no, so that it will raise the event only when there is a availability change which goes beyond or below the threshold limit. So that is on the criteria parameters. And coming to our RTIME, we have three different kinds of RTIMEs. One is activity based, quick sync, and full sync. Activity based is something for every activity that is being done in the Sterling order management system, which changes the inventory picture beyond or below the threshold limit. It would create a record into YFS inventory activity table, and once the agent runs, it would pick all the activity done for that particular item in YFS inventory activity table. It will generate an XML and send it to the external system. What is meant by quick sync? Quick sync mode is something which helps in resending the data for the last couple of hours if there is any failure in the external system. If there is any failure in the external system, you can configure the number of hours, how many hours you want to send the data, and you can run that particular agent so that it will pick all the information from YFS inventory alerts table and it will send the data to the external system. And the last one we have is a full sync. Full sync is nothing but it will, irrespective of what we call that inventory activity or inventory alerts table, it will send all the information to the external system based on the inventory organization, whatever you are configuring in the criteria parameters. And as part of that, we have, as part of this RTIME agent, we have two events that is on real-time availability change and real-time availability change list. And change is nothing but it will send each and every XML. If it is list, it will send the list of XMLs as we seen yesterday. And these are the different event triggers based on what, like if the low quantity boundary inventory, when the inventory considers as being low quantity, medium, and high, like whatever we have already discussed as part of the monitor rule. And coming to this difference between node level and ATP monitor rule, yeah, we have discussed this yesterday. ATP monitor rule is something which we use for a specific DG level which is configured in the basic configuration, whereas node level monitor is something which you configure at that particular monitoring rule in the global inventory visibility. And this is something which we have also discussed, the alert level and the alert type. Alert level is 0 when it is beyond the high. If it is between medium and high, it is alert 1. If it is between low and medium, it is alert 2. If it is below low, it is alert 3. So whenever the alert 0, 1, 2, it is called as on hand alerts. If it is alert 3, it is called as feature max. So as part of that particular XML, whichever is getting generated from Sterling Order Management System, we will we will have the alert type as real time on hand for anything above low level. And if it is going below low level, we will have the alert type as real time future max. And there are certain examples which they have given here. I mean, like the XMLs they have given here, how exactly the XML looks like whenever the alert is 0, 1, 2, 3, and all stuff. So that's pretty much on whatever we have discussed yesterday. If you guys are having any more questions or clarifications, we can discuss. Else, we'll try to run our server and see how exactly it works. Guys, anything or shall we go?
No questions, Pradeep.
Noor and Sheikh.
No questions, Pradeep.
Let me open that particular agent. It will be under general. We have something called as real-time availability monitor. As discussed just now, we have to configure the agent and the respective queue. So if you see, we need to have this particular agent server and its respective queue configured. So if you are having your Sterling order management system, what do you call that? No, sorry. If you have installed your Sterling order management system, you will have the agent as default agent, and you will have the queue as something like this. You will have default agent you will have, and here also you will have some default agent queue you will have. So you just have to configure one queue in our WebLogic, and you just have to configure one agent like how we have seen. Like you just have to click plus create an agent. So once those things are done, you can enable any one of this event. In order to enable an event, like for example, this is not active, you can click on this particular event, click on this particular settings, you can make it as active. So the minute you make it active, you can double click on that, you can see this particular white space gets enabled. And once this white space is enabled, you can use any of the action if you want to invoke that particular action. So in my case, I have already enabled the event that is this on real time availability change list, and I am invoking my action that is RTAM. Action name is RTAM. So you can see I have configured an action here. This is the RTAM action I have created. And under that, I am invoking some service called as RTAM. So I'm not doing anything technical here. It is just that I'm publishing the message into a database uh, component because as of today, any RTAM agent, it sends the information. Sorry. It sends the information to the external system. So the external system will get this inventory information on the invocation of this particular event. So as I don't have any external system, I'm putting the message whichever is going to the external system into some database. Okay. So now, like as we have three different kinds of what you call that agents, let us run one by one. So first, let me run rtam active. And one more thing, guys, I don't have the. Oh, come on. I missed to do this yesterday. Sorry, guys. I forgot actually. Give me a moment. Huh? Yesterday also I had this. Uh, Give me a moment, guys. Sorry. Noor, do you remember like what is the password we use for this system? Password itself, right? Not sure why it is not working for me. I remember I used password only. Extremely sorry, guys. I kind of forgot about this.
I think Sterling 97 like that you used, right?
But this is not my system user. So it's not configured. Let me try and run it. Not connected. So, okay, give me a moment, guys. I'll just stop sharing to see some. System admin is what I have used. Operate not connected. I'm sharing screen. My password was admin. Ouch. Are you able to see my screen? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, Pradeep.
Yes, Pradeep.
Okay, yeah. I was just searching some personal documents like where I share all my passwords and all. I found that it is admin. My password is username is this system and like my password is admin. Okay, sorry for that, guys. I should have done that before the session. Anyway, so right now we are going to see YFS inventory activity table and see how many records are there in that. So we just have two records. So basically, like I don't have the what do you call that RTIME configured on all the items because if you see in my item table, I'll have like lots and lots of items. So I'll have like hundreds of items. I have 228 items. But like RTIME is not configured on all the items. So let me see. Uh, let's see ATP. ATP. Item role is not there. What was the column name? Yes. Yes. Inventory monitor rule. Okay. So this is the place where it will have our RTIME rule configured. I let's give where monitor rule is not null. So I have it is coming as blank. Not equal to. Yes. It's not taken. Or else I'll do like this. Rule in. I have only two RTIMEs, right? Let me give RTIME and RTIME1. So you can see I have only these many items which are having my RTIME, what do you call that, configured, inventory monitor rule configured. And out of these items, like maybe I might not have inventory on all the items and all stuff. So currently I can see the inventory activity is present only on two different what you call inventory pictures. Okay. So let us see how exactly it will generate the XML when I run the first agent, that is RTAM activity based agent. So for running an agent, we all know that it would be under our Oracle OMS bin. We would just give agent server.cmd and it is RTAM active. So it is RTAM active. So the minute I run this particular agent, it will go and check in YFS inventory activity table and see what are all the different activities we have, and it will try to generate the XML based on the thresholds whatever we have. And where can we see the XML, guys?
In the database even.
In the database component, whatever we have configured under that particular
Action.
event. Yeah, action, whatever it is. Under the event, you will have under the event you will have action. Under the action, you are configuring the service. So right now I can see all my what you call that services are started. Let us go and check in that particular database component. So let's start from YFS export where flow name is equal to so and so, and export key greater than, I'm just giving only today's date so that we'll get only today's. So that is what it is, and I'll just get the flow name. What is the flow name? This simple RTAM. So what is happening? It's not picking. Okay, maybe I have to trigger that. It is not triggered it. Let me trigger it also. Let us see what happens. Trigger agent.cmd. I'm just giving the criteria parameter and let us see what happens. Oh, there is some error. Not error should be fine. What is happening? This error is pretty common. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, let us not waste the time. I'll just show you the older XMLs, whatever I have. So I'm just taking a couple of XMLs just to show you guys how exactly it looks like. I'll try to rectify that error during my free time, and we will run the agent sometime tomorrow. So if you see, the XMLs look something like this. What exactly these XMLs are? You can see for this particular item ID, there are two availability changes happened, which are what we call that having the alert level 3. Alert level 3 is nothing but it is below the lower limit, and you can see the alert quantity is 10. Alert quantity 10 is nothing but we are having the lower threshold as 10, and whenever it is alert level 3 you will have alert type as real time future max, right, as part of the this one. If the alert level 3 it is real time future max, and you can see what is the on hand availability quantity, it is 9. Okay, so this is for that particular item. So whenever you see any item level inventory availability picture, you will have the first XML. It will be for the across the nodes, and the corresponding XMLs will be at the node level. Okay, like maybe if you see this XML, you will understand. Okay, sorry, this item is not having the across nodes. Okay, this is a great example then. So, for example, for item 100021, you are doing two things. You want the across the nodes information as well as node level information. So when the information is giving across the nodes, there will be no warehouse in this particular XML. You can see that. So whatever is present for this item, it is present in only one warehouse, that is matrix warehouse 1, and that is the reason why you are seeing only one warehouse level information and only one across the node level information, where you have both the quantity as only 9. Whereas for this particular item 100020, we have configured what we call that node level information. And the node level information, come on, there is something wrong with this exam. It is having monitor option 2, that is monitor option 2. Let me try to get only monitor option 1. Okay, I'll reiterate again, guys. So we are having only one item. Yeah. So for the same item, you can see different levels here. So you can see level 0, level 1, and level 3. So whenever you are running the monitor option 1, it is an activity based monitor which brings the information from YFS inventory activity table, and you can have the monitor option 1 running at the warehouse level as well as at the node level. So when you see these examples, you can see one thing. The first XML, whichever is given, it is at across the nodes level, which is having no the node as blank, and it is giving the entire on-hand information. Whereas when you see the second XML, it is at the node level, where you can see the matrix warehouse 1 is having on-hand availability as 9, and it is alert level 3. The same way you can see this is one more alert which is raised whenever it is going beyond the beyond the higher threshold. So here the alert level is 0, that means that it is above the high level, and you can see the alert type as real time on hand and alert quantity as 214748, whatever the number we have seen here. And the same way we have one more alert, alert level 1. It is having alert type as real time on hand, and you can see the node is blank because this is at the across the nodes level, and this is at the node level. Okay, so this is how the XML looks whenever we run our RTAM, which is what you call that run based on the activity mode. That is our RTAM option 1. Is that clear, guys? I know it is a little confusing, but I just want you guys to understand. If there is something which we can try or talk, we can talk once again. Guys, I want you guys to talk. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why like this RTAM is behaving like this. I thought it would be done in one session, but it has taken 1.5 sessions already. So I want you guys to talk.
Yeah, understood, Pradeep.
Abhishek Noor.
Yeah, Pradeep.
And let us also try running RTAM2. We'll see if it helps us. If not, we will go with the sample XMLs which we have already have. The RTAM delta. This is working. RTAM2 is working fine. You can see that the minute I run that particular RTAM agent 2, it has taken all the information from select star from YFS inventory alerts table. So here also, as we mentioned earlier, right? Anything that is processed by our RTAM activity, it will go and sit in alerts table also. And whenever we are running the second thing, that is quick sync or delta, it will pick the information from inventory alerts table. And you can see it has generated some 10 XMLs right away for when we run the second RTAM. So let me copy paste all of this and let us see what is it. So here also it will be more or less the same thing. You will have one item ID, okay, and for that particular item ID you will have across the node. This is the information, and these are all the different alerts which got raised in the last couple of hours or couple of days for that particular item. And you can see it is for different warehouses. So basically, second one, the quick sync is nothing but combination of all the inventory activity XMLs which are raised for the activity based monitor. So you will have everything here. Whatever is raised for that particular one item, you will have everything here. Because you can see here, right, for that particular item, it has raised alert level 3, 0 for different warehouses, matrix warehouse 1, matrix warehouse 2, store 2, store 1, and in between it has also raised for the across the nodes information also. Likewise, you will have for each and every item you will have different XMLs. Okay, is that clear, guys? On the option 2, it is more or less the same thing. Option 1 is nothing but real time. It will be keep on sending whenever the agent is running. Option 2 is it is resending the information, right? Like the what you call that option 2 is specially meant only for resending the information whatever you have in your inventory activity table. Okay.
Yes, yes, Pradeep.
And option 3 is for sending full sync. That is, it will send every information. Let me try to run that also. Okay, capital S. Has successfully started. Let me take another one. Let me just descending so that I'll take the. It has created total 35 records today, and out of 35, only the last 10 is belonging to the RTAM. What you call that? Agent 2 or option 2. Let us take the rest XMLs. So these many XMLs it has generated for full sync. So again, it is the same thing. Irrespective of anything, it will send all the information. You can see. What you call for each item, it is sending all the information, whatever is present in the database. So it is as simple as option 1 will give you, that is the delta sync will give you very minimal information for the activity done just now. Option 2 is to resend the information whichever is happening from last couple of hours or couple of days based on the configuration whatever you are doing. And option 3 will give the entire information of all the items whatever are configured for the RTAM. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much on the hard time, guys. Like, I want you guys to try it out and let me know if you guys are having any doubts, questions, clarifications, or if you guys are stuck somewhere, we can connect and we can work on it.
Sure, brother.
Yeah. And I have shared. I guess I've shared the documentation yesterday, right?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, I've shared the document. It's like they're almost so interesting. And these are like very very simple topics, I can say, where we want to create an agent server in order to move the order to scheduled or to released status. So if you guys remember, we have seen creation of order, like it will be in created status. Once the order is created, it has to go to scheduled status, and from there it will be going to released status, right? So in order to have this particular status change, we all know that we will have some transactions in between, and that transaction will be running on an agent. That particular agent is responsible in moving the order from one status to other status. So whenever you are having the Sterling installation for the first time, you will not have the agents configured for that particular transaction. Like for example, if you go to your order fulfillment, and in that pipeline sales order fulfillment, this is a pipeline which is getting used right now. And for create order, it is the XML whatever you use in your API tester and invoke the create order API. Once the create order is successful, we have already seen that it will be creating the YFS task queue record for schedule, and in our case it is creating for created ex, that is our custom transaction. And once that is done, it will be given to the schedule, and as part of this particular schedule transaction, we don't we will have, sorry, we will have the agent. But in your case, you guys might not have this particular schedule agent. You will have the default agent which is provided by the Sterling order management system upon installing the reference implementation. So in order to have that particular schedule agent running, you have to create a JMS queue as well as one schedule agent server, so that whenever the order is created, it will have the respective schedule agent recorded YFS task queue table, and this particular agent will go and pick that particular record, and it will try to process the order from created to scheduled, and from scheduled it will go to release transaction. Once the release transaction uh, picks that particular order, it will move the order to released status. So here also, as part of this particular release transaction, you will not have the release agent configured. You would have the default agent and default agent queue here. So we would need to create this particular JMS queue, as well as we would need to create this particular agent. So that's pretty much on the configuration part. We don't have anything else to be done because it is an out of the box agent. The both schedule order and release order are an out of the box agent, where we can see they are configured with some Java code which is present in our jar files, and we can see it is a time trigger transaction as well as it is a task based transaction. We already know that task based transactions are something which we look for the records in YFS task queue table in order to get the jobs, and the execute jobs will be written as part of this particular Java code. So as part of this particular activity, there are only very, very simple configurations we have to do. We have to create two different JMS queues in our WebLogic server. One is the schedule queue and the second one is our release queue. Okay, and we have to create two different agents. One is a release agent for release order transaction, where you can just click on this plus button and you can create your server name. The same goes with the schedule agent. So here, as part of this particular activity, right, we are just creating the agent server in order to move the order from one status to other status. That is from created to schedule, schedule to release, we will be using the agent in order to process these particular orders. So that is a configuration part. Now let us see the implementation. So let me create one particular order. Let me see if we have inventory and let us process an order and see how it goes. So this is my item. So in order to check the inventory, we will have the inventory picture as part of IFS inventory supply table. That is under, so let's start from IFS inventory supply, where inventory item key in um, item where this. Okay, we can see that we have on hand quantity in different places. So let us try to create this order. I'm just giving a different order number. So let us create this. Okay, Pawan, I remember you have asked some question, right? Like related to this pipeline, like how exactly we are creating the pickup status, right? We are
Yeah.
not having any pickup status as created EX here, and how exactly we are able to move the order like this, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what is happening, right? Like after discussing in our call, I have observed something. I'll explain that also now. Okay. So now let me create this particular order and let us see how it goes. Yeah. So just creating the order. So create order given. So, so the minute I create the order, let me see what all created in the task queue table. So let's start from here. Uh, Data key in order where order number is equal to so what is happening? It says the record already exists. Maybe I have the order with the same order number already. So I'll just give some dispute to dispute 0213. Yeah, now the order is created. I'm just taking the order number and let us see what all created for that particular order. So when you see right, Pawan, it has created two different transactions. Okay, this particular transaction, this 202209, right? This is my created EX transaction. Okay, so when you see, it is creating for schedule as well as for this particular created EX. So whatever the implementation we have done here, it is not the, I can say, the real time implementation, because in order to have an order moving from one status to other status, it would have only one transaction at a time. Okay, so the implementation should be in such a way that we have to have this particular agent to drop some new status. Like it has to drop the order into some new status which is being picked by this particular agent. Like as part of these things, right? I can have any of the status as a drop status for this particular transaction so that it will go in one flow. But here, what is happening? We can see two things. Like right now, if I schedule this order, it will get scheduled because it is having the schedule task queue record also. Okay, so in order to have that particular drop status, this particular transaction has to be corrected to have the drop status whatever is present in these pickup statuses. Because this particular scheduled transaction will not allow us to add any more new pickup statuses because it is an out of the box transaction which is provided by Sterling Order Management System. So in order to have your own custom transaction, whatever you are creating in between, it is our responsibility to drop the status which is picked up by this particular schedule transaction. Okay, so I can say this is just a workaround or a kind of an what you call that explanation thing which I have created to make you guys understand how exactly a task based transaction works. But the implementation should not be dropping the order to create an EX status. Instead, it should drop to any of this particular status. Is that clear, Pawan?
Yes, Pradeep, got it.
Okay. So now let me, like however it has created to, let me start my created EX agent. Let us process the order. Then we will go for schedule agent. So first of all, let me remove the holds on that particular order. The order will have some 10 holds. So giving the order number here. My order number is test 0213. Okay, I'm just resolving the holds. You guys remember, right? For resolving the holds, also we have an agent. But however, I'm just doing it manually for now. Just to resolve them the hold. Now the order is in created status. So as part of our pipeline, first transaction we want it to be created EX transaction. So I'll just start my created EX agent. Okay, now it has got processed. Let me see my order. So it is moved to created EX. Now after the created EX, our next transaction would be schedule. So I'll be running the schedule agent, whichever we have configured just now. That is the schedule agent. and that particular schedule agent queue, whatever we have configured. So if you see the data task queue table, now you will have only schedule transaction. So now let me run the schedule agent. But before running the schedule agent, make sure the status of the payment is authorized, because the schedule transaction will expect us to have the payment status as authorized, and we are going to automate this. We will discuss that as part of the payment, what you call that, explanation, whatever we are doing in the upcoming sessions. So now I'll go and start my schedule agent server, and this is my schedule agent. Let us see what has happened on the order. You can see the order is scheduled, and after the schedule it should be released. So let us go and check in the YFS task queue table for that particular order. Currently it is having schedule. Let me run the query once again. You can see it is giving the order to the release transaction. So the next transaction is release as part of our pipeline. So it's a pipeline. So if you go to the pipeline, we already know that once the order is scheduled, it is giving the order to, sorry, you can see it is going something like this to release agent. So now as part of the release agent, we have configured a new agent called as release agent. So let us run the release agent. Yeah. My order is processed. Let me see my order status. Should get released. It is released. So according to the pipeline, it should give the handover to the next transaction. So let us see in our YFS task queue table. So as part of our current implementation, we don't have any more, what you call that, agents. Like, I mean, like, we have not yet configured this, all this stuff. Like, I have did only till there. So the order goes to consolidate to shipment. You can configure an agent here. You can configure the required time trigger transaction and all stuff, and you can process your order accordingly. So yeah, that is how we process an order from one order status to other order status using the agent and the transaction, which are provided by Sterling out of the box configuration. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much on these two things. So likewise, you can configure the schedule agent and its respective queue and process the orders from one status to other status. Any doubts on that, guys?
No, Pradeep.
Okay. Okay, guys, that's all I had. And what you call that? Tomorrow we will see about this particular database customizations, like creating new columns or creating new table and all stuff. Like, we'll be checking on this tomorrow. And I want you guys to tell me will that be possible to have a session on Thursday for 2 hours? Pawan Abhishek note.
Yes, brother.
Okay. Why I'm asking that is this particular payment thing will take time. So in order to have that right, we would definitely need 2 hours of time. So if we stop on one particular day, it would become a discontinuation. So on Thursday, I'll update the invite after this call for 2 hours. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. That's all I had for the day. Thanks. Have a nice day. We'll connect back tomorrow same time.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Thanks,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you.